Hey everybody, it's Jay. In this video, I will be doing the gender tag. Now, for those who do not know, the gender tag is a bunch of questions and, about gender and, really good questions about gender. It really makes you think and, open your mind to stuff. So, yeah, and you answer them and, there's a lot of videos on YouTube of a lot of people doing, the gender tag. If you just search it, the gender tag in YouTube, you'll come up with tons and tons of videos. I actually got this idea from Finn the Invincible. A lot of you may know him. He's a YouTuber, a trans male YouTuber, who does really, really great videos. He's actually one of my favorite trans YouTubers. So, or YouTubers in general. So question number 1 is, how do you self-identify your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? Now, I identify as a non-binary trans man, and what that means to me is that I am non-binary in everything, the way I act, my personality, I'm just very non-binary. I'm, I would call myself, a mix of both genders, or my own gender, really. I'm neither, perfectly male, I'm neither perfectly female. I consider myself, a mix of the two. And then I also consider myself, as a trans man, a trans guy, because while I feel like I do not fit the binary, I believe that, I am more masculine and I am more male, even though, the way I act and, everything else to me is non-binary. But, I do believe still that I am, male. At least more male than, female. Which is why I would consider myself, a non-binary trans man. Question number 2 is, what pronouns honor you? Now, my pronouns, 2 pronouns. I go by they, them, theirs, as well as he, him, his. And I honestly don't have a preference for either. I go by both and I respond to both. And those are my pronouns. And they feel good to me, they feel comfortable for me, and they honor me. Question 3 is, describe the style of clothing that you most often wear. Well, in terms of clothing, I present masculine. I don't usually wear dresses or skirts or any sort of female type clothing, feminine clothing. I usually wear more baggier jeans and baggier clothes in general. Well, yeah, and lately I haven't been able to buy much clothes because I'm kind of broke at the moment. So a lot of the clothes I'm wearing are clothes that I've had for years. And prior to transition, I hadn't grown since maybe I was 14 or so, 13 or 14. So I've pretty much been wearing the same size of clothing for like a really long time. So now all the clothes that I have are starting to actually fit tight. Like, look at this. This tank top used to actually fit me a little loose, and these days it's like actually kind of tight on me, and which I don't mind. I don't mind it really. I actually don't mind, tight t-shirts and tight tank tops and etc. But in terms of the clothes I wear, I generally present masculine. I don't really wear feminine clothes. So yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that either. I know a lot of non-binary trans masculine people who wear dresses and skirts, and they look they slay. They look good. So if that's your thing, that's awesome. It's not my thing though. So that was question 3. Now question 4 is talk about choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? What do you choose to shave or choose not to shave? Now, in terms of body hair, I'm actually generally not, a very hairy person. The way I style my hair, is I like to keep my hair short. I had long hair my entire life, up until I was maybe about 18 or 19. And I moved out from living with my mom, and living with her my entire life, I could never do anything with my hair. I couldn't dye it, I couldn't cut it, I couldn't really do much with it. So it's like a couple years after I moved out, I went and got a haircut, and it really felt like a rebirthing on my part. I felt like almost a whole new person just by having short hair, and it really, like, it's what I had wanted all along. So I was very happy about that. And now I haven't changed the style per se since I got it cut the first time. I've kind of just kept it the same. I shaved the sides and kept the top. And I'm thinking I'm probably gonna change it up soon. It's been the same for a long time. So I'm starting to get kind of tired of it. I'm thinking I want to do something different. Maybe go bald. I don't know. Maybe get a new style. Maybe a fade. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. In the future, change up my hairstyle. But yeah, I'm happy with having short hair. I don't, at this time in my life, I don't want to have long hair. Do I have facial hair? I wish I had more. You could see, I don't know if you could see, like, I have, little mustaches growing in, because, it's 8 months, it's been 8 months, I got a little bit of chin hairs, my sideburns a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I don't have much facial hair at all. Like, it's there, I can see it in the mirror, if I look really closely, but it's all very tiny, it's all very subtle. I was kind of hoping I'd have a little bit more facial hair by now, but patience is key. I know a lot of people shave their facial hair, even if they have a little bit. They still do the thing and everything, but I feel like I honestly just don't really have anything to shave yet. So I'm just gonna kind of let my facial hair do its thing. I'm not gonna touch it. We'll see what happens. I know there's definitely a mustache there. Like, you can sort of see it, but that's pretty much all I got right now. And I'm hoping I'm soon gonna be able to see more visible hairs. What do you choose to shave or not shave? Well, there's that. I don't shave my face. I shave my head. My armpits. I don't. I do shave my armpits, but it's more of like a comfort thing, really. It's like I will let my armpit hair grow for a year, maybe even longer, but sometimes, it starts to get irritated, and when it gets irritated, I just shave it all off. I don't even trim it. I just take it all off, and then I just let it grow back on its own again for however months, a year, or whatever. I just let it grow until, it starts to irritate me again. Then I do the system again. I shave it all off, and that's how I deal with it. I honestly have like no in between with the trimming. I kind of just go from one extreme to the other. I like let it grow out all the way, and then I'll shave it all, and yeah. That's what I do with my armpit hair. With my my leg hair, I actually, prior to transitioning, like using testosterone, I hadn't shaved my legs in like 2 or 3 years, like a really long time, like 2 or 3 years, yeah. And and I haven't since. I still haven't shaved my legs at all. I actually enjoy having hairy legs, so yeah, I've just I just let it grow, and it's more. I had little hairs, even though I didn't shave for 2 or 3 years before I started tea. My leg hair was still very tiny. Like it wasn't, you couldn't really see it unless you really looked up close. And it's still sort of the same. Like it's definitely more. It's definitely grown more since I started tea, but it's still not as, as prominent as I would have expected at this point in my transition. It is what it is. I'm still happy with my transition so far. So, maybe one day I'll be a hairy monster. Who knows? Like, I wouldn't mind it either. Let's talk about cosmetics. Do you choose to wear makeup? Do you paint your nails? What types of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? Alright. So, this is gonna be a boring answer. I do not wear makeup at all. I do not wear makeup at all. Because it is not my thing. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I just don't wear makeup. Makeup and that whole thing just makes me feel really uncomfortable. And I honestly have no idea how to do makeup. I never have. Prior to transitioning, I when I was living life, as a girl, I never did makeup. I didn't know how. And that was that. I'm pretty sure my mom probably wouldn't have allowed it anyway. But yeah, like I just didn't know how, and I still don't know how, and I honestly don't have any interest in learning how to do makeup. Do I paint my nails? I do not paint my nails, but once in a while my girl will paint my toenails, and I'm fine with that. I'll let her do it. I think it's kind of cute, but it's not something I do habitually. It's not something I do constantly. It's kind of just like a spur of the moment thing. If she's like doing her nails or something, and I'm like around her, she'll be like, "Oh, do you want me to do your nails?" And I'll turn into a cute little thing, and she'll do my nails, and yeah. But that's about it. Like I don't paint my fingernails. I don't paint my nails myself. I just let her do it once in a while. Number 6 is, have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? I have definitely experienced being misgendered, especially, in the beginning of my transition, like way before medical transition, when I started to, I really identify as non-binary and, go by they pronouns, and I people would just kind of, ignore that whole thing and just, keep calling me she and lady. I have started to pass a little more in society, like strangers now, like I'd say maybe like 60-70% of the time will call me sir these days, or Mr. or whatever. But I still do get misgendered. I still do, I still get she'd and called female, and it's rough. It's rough, especially coming from like a place of like hanging out with people who respect your pronouns, and being with a person who respects you 100%, respects your pronouns, and then to have people just kind of come around and use the wrong pronoun. It's like a shock to your system. It's not a good feeling, and that still definitely happens, and I'm hoping it'll slow down as I get further and further into my transition. But I can't really predict the future, so I can just hope that the misgendering will kind of slow down, hopefully come to a standstill. Do you experience dysphoria? How does that affect you? Now, this is a good question. Do I experience dysphoria? I do experience dysphoria. Which is why also is a reason why I'm on T. I did have certain dysphorias that testosterone has alleviated for me. Including my voice, the body hair, just my body in general. Gaining some more weight and getting bigger. I do still have top dysphoria and bottom dysphoria. I do bind, but I'm in a situation where I bind my chest because I like my chest to look flat in clothes. However, when I think about actually getting top surgery, it still kind of freaks me out, and I'm not totally 100% on the decision. So that's something I go back and forth on. And same thing with bottom surgery. I'm also very interested in bottom surgery. But when I actually think about going through the whole procedure and doing the whole thing, I'm very back and forth, just like I am with the top surgery. So, but I do have dysphoria there. I do bind, I do pack. There are days where I feel like really uncomfortable with these parts of my body, and there's not much I can do about that. Only get through it and do things to make me feel better about myself. Some people think that non-binary people do not experience dysphoria. That's not true. A lot of non-binary people, whether you've done medical intervention or not, do experience dysphoria, and that's a myth that they don't experience dysphoria. So don't listen to people out there who tell you that. And same thing, there are trans men and trans women out there who actually don't experience dysphoria. Contrary to the common narrative that trans people, are really upset with their bodies and stuff, there are trans people out there who are actually fine and don't experience dysphoria. So, it's always good to not make any assumptions. Everyone's different. Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry a child if that were an option for you? Do you want to be the primary caretaker for any children you may have? I would like to have kids someday, whether it be biologically or adopting a child. I would definitely like to have children, maybe like 15, 20 years from now. I could see myself with a family. Um, I love kids. I've always loved kids. You know, so I definitely think, you know, children is in my future. In terms of carrying the child, I know for most of my life, you know, especially when I came out as queer, you know, as a young teenager, you know, I never wanted to give birth to a child. You know, when I was a lesbian, you know, I'd tell my partner that, you know, you're gonna be the one to birth the child. The idea of childbirth always, you know, kind of caused me dysphoria. I never was into that sort of thing. I just, you know, I always love children. I always have. I always will love kids, but you know, it really, like, giving birth is a whole other, you know, bag of marbles for me. And I've found, though, within, like, maybe the last, like, year or so, you know, maybe last 6 months or so, you know, the thought of, you know, actually giving birth to a child, you know, as in the body that I have right now, would actually not be that too terrible of, you know, a thing. I feel like my mind has maybe sort of changed on that. I still don't feel 100% like I would want to, like, 100% give birth to a kid, but it is something, you know, I think about, and it's no longer something that I'm, like, you know, like, Xing it off my list. It's like, you know, it's something that I'm open to, you know, thinking about, and maybe in the future I may give birth, maybe in the future, you know, but then I think about, you know, going off testosterone and doing that whole thing is, you know, it's really a lot on your body, you know, there's that, but, you know, I have gone from being like, absolutely not, I will not give birth to children, to, you know, maybe, just maybe I might, you know, who knows what the future holds. Which, you know, kind of conflicts me because, you know, I've always wanted a hysterectomy, but, you know, these days I'm starting to think maybe I should wait a little longer, because, you know, you know, who knows what's going to happen in the future. So, you know, for now I'm going to keep that open, and, yeah, that's definitely something I think about from time to time. And seeing all these stories of, like, transmasculine people, you know, giving birth is just so inspiring and just so beautiful. Do I want to be the primary caretaker for any children I may have? Sure. I mean, I'd want to raise, like, I'd want to take care of these children with my partner and function, you know, just like any other family would. I wouldn't mind being, you know, the primary caretaker, but I would definitely want to be present in my child's life and, you know, be very active in it and very, you know, just very, you know, involved in my child's life. I definitely would want to do that. And, you know, share the responsibilities with a partner. Question number 9 says, talk about money. Is it important to you to provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important to you that you earn more than any partner you may have? Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others pay for you or offer to pay for you? I guess it is important, you know, if I have a family, I would want to provide for them. I mean, who wouldn't want to provide for their family? It's not important to me that I I personally earn more money than my partner. Money is money. It doesn't really matter to me whether I have to make more than like my partner would. As long as we're both making money to support a family, I think that should be enough. It really doesn't matter to me personally if I have to earn more than she does. That it just doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me at all. And I don't really understand why that would matter to someone, but everyone's different. Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? When it comes to a partnership, I think that it should be 50-50. Like, both parties should bring, enough to the table that is pretty equal, and everyone can benefit from everything, and it's not on one person more than it is on the other, to provide. Okay, final question. Anything else you want to share about your experience with gender? Since I started exploring my gender, 2 or 3 years ago, it's just really opened up my eyes to a lot of things, and just, it allowed me to feel more comfortable in myself, in my body, in my mind. I feel like I'm able to, finally be myself, because, something has been off for so many years. Like, things just never really seemed right. I feel physically here, like I feel good. I'm learning to love my body more and more each day. And it's hard sometimes. Sometimes, my dysphoria just comes out of nowhere, and it gets rough. But for the most part, I feel good, and just to be able to reach out to other people in the community, and meet other people who are gender non-conforming, other trans people, who totally understand what I'm going through. It's just freaking amazing. It's just been so great, and just the support I've gotten from friends and family has just been really, really great. Gender is not as simple as a lot of people think it is, and being able to like deconstruct that, and just like live and be myself has been a great experience. It's really been a great ride, and I don't regret it at all. I wouldn't change the way things are for the world. I'm just so grateful, and I'm just so happy. I feel so blessed, and yeah, I guess I will leave it on that note. I don't want to go on and on, make this super long video. I'm sorry if it turns out to be super long. But yeah, thank you for watching. This has been the Gender Tag. I will see you soon. Bye bye.